The vast expanse of space stretched out infinitely, a canvas of stars and darkness. Against this backdrop, the colony ship Terra Nova glided smoothly, its hull gleaming under the distant light of an alien sun. Inside, the hum of the ship's engines was a constant reminder of the journey's purpose, humanity's first steps onto a new world. Commander Sarah Mitchell stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the viewport as the ship approached its destination. Gliese 581G, a planet shrouded in mystery and potential, loomed ahead. After years of preparation and months of travel, they were finally here. "Status report," Sarah commanded, her voice steady despite the anticipation she felt. Lieutenant James Chen, the ship's navigator, glanced up from his console. "Entering orbit now, Commander. All systems are green. Descent module is prepped and ready." Sarah nodded, turning to face her crew. Each member, handpicked for their expertise, represented the best of humanity's hope for survival and expansion. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the chief scientist, stood beside James, her eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and excitement. Beside her, Captain Aaron Drake, the head of security, maintained a vigilant watch, ever ready for the unknown. "Prepare for landing," Sarah ordered. "This is it, everyone. Let's make history." The crew moved with practiced efficiency, their actions a symphony of coordination. Sarah took her place at the helm of the descent module, her mind racing with 1,000 thoughts. They had trained for this moment, but the reality of setting foot on an alien world brought a weight of responsibility she could feel in her bones. As the descent module detached from the Terra Nova, a hush fell over the crew. The planet's surface grew larger, its features becoming more distinct. Vast oceans, sprawling landmasses, and dense forests came into view. The module's thrusters fired, slowing their descent as they neared their designated landing site, a flat, open plain near a large freshwater lake. The module touched down with a gentle thud, and for a moment there was silence. Sarah's hand hovered over the release button, her heart pounding in her chest. She took a deep breath and pressed it. The hatch opened with a hiss, revealing the alien landscape beyond. Sarah was the first to step out, her boots sinking slightly into the soft alien soil. The air was crisp, carrying scents that were both familiar and foreign. She turned back to her crew, who followed her lead, their expressions a mix of awe and determination. "Welcome to Gliese 581G, Sarah said, her voice filled with a sense of accomplishment. "Let's get to work." The initial hours were a blur of activity. The colonists established a temporary base camp, deploying equipment and setting up shelters. Vasquez led a team to collect soil and air samples, while Captain Drake coordinated security measures, ensuring the perimeter was secure. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the plain, the colonists gathered for their first evening on the new world. A makeshift fire crackled in the center of the camp, its light flickering on the faces of those gathered around it. Sarah addressed her team, her voice carrying over the quiet murmurs of the group. "Today, we've achieved something incredible. We've taken the first steps toward building a new future for humanity. There will be challenges ahead, but I have no doubt that together, we can overcome them. Rest well tonight. Tomorrow, our real work begins." The night brought a profound stillness, the sky above ablaze with unfamiliar constellations. Sarah sat by the fire, her mind reflecting on the journey that had brought them here and the path that lay ahead. She felt a presence beside her and looked up to see Dr. Vasquez. "Quite the view, isn't it?" Elena said, her eyes on the stars. "It's breathtaking," Sarah agreed. "Hard to believe we're really here." Elena nodded, a thoughtful expression on her face. "I've been analyzing the initial data. This planet has so much potential, but there's something unsettling about it, like it's hiding secrets." Sarah glanced at her, sensing the scientist's unease. "We'll uncover those secrets, Elena, and we'll do it together." As the fire crackled and the first night on Gliese 581G unfolded, the colonists settled into an uneasy sleep, their dreams filled with possibilities and uncertainties. Commander Sarah Mitchell remained vigilant, knowing that the journey's end was merely the beginning of a far greater adventure. And so, under the watchful eyes of alien stars, humanity's new chapter began. The first light of dawn on Gliese 581G cast a pale blue hue over the landscape, painting the horizon with an otherworldly beauty. Commander Sarah Mitchell awoke to the gentle hum of the temporary base camp coming to life. She stretched, feeling the cool morning air on her skin, and stepped out of her shelter to survey the scene. Colonists were already bustling with activity. Dr. Elena Vasquez was coordinating the setup of a mobile lab, while Captain Aaron Drake conducted a security briefing with his team. The sight of their determination filled Sarah with a renewed sense of purpose. "Morning, Commander," Aaron said, approaching her. "We're ready for the first scouting mission. The area looks clear, but we're maintaining full alert. You never know what's out there." "Understood," Sarah replied. "Let's get everyone together for a quick briefing." The colonists gathered around, their expressions a mix of excitement and apprehension. Sarah addressed them, her voice firm and reassuring. "Today, we begin our first exploration of this new world," she said. "We need to understand the terrain, the flora and fauna, and any potential resources or dangers. Stay alert and stick to your assigned teams. Dr. Vasquez will be leading the scientific team, and Captain Drake will handle security. Let's make this a productive day." With that, the teams dispersed, each member equipped with the latest in exploration gear. Sarah led the primary scouting team, which included Elena and a few engineers. They set off toward the nearby forest, eager to gather data and samples. The forest loomed ahead, a dense tangle of vegetation unlike anything on Earth. The trees were tall and slender, their bark a deep shade of blue, with leaves that shimmered silver in the sunlight. The air was thick with unfamiliar scents and the distant sounds of alien wildlife. "Remember, stay within sight of each other," Sarah instructed. "We don't know what kind of predators or hazards might be lurking." As they ventured deeper, Elena stopped frequently to collect samples, her eyes gleaming with scientific curiosity. She examined a cluster of bioluminescent flowers, their petals glowing softly under her touch. "Incredible," she murmured. "These plants seem to have a unique way of absorbing and emitting light. I've never seen anything like it." Sarah smiled at her friend's enthusiasm. "Just make sure you document everything. This data will be invaluable for understanding our new home." The team continued their exploration, cataloging plants, insects, and soil compositions. Every discovery added to the growing picture of Gliese 581G's ecosystem. They encountered creatures resembling a cross between mammals and reptiles, their eyes following the humans with wary curiosity. As the sun climbed higher, the team reached a small clearing. Sarah called for a break, allowing everyone to rest and review their findings. She took a moment to reflect on the morning's progress, feeling a sense of accomplishment. Suddenly, a rustling sound caught her attention. Sarah motioned for silence, her hand instinctively reaching for her sidearm. The team tensed, scanning the forest for any sign of movement. From the underbrush, a creature emerged. It stood on two legs, its body covered in scale, as that shifted colors with the light. Its eyes, large and intelligent, locked onto Sarah's. The creature appeared cautious but not immediately hostile. Elena stepped forward slowly, her hand raised in a gesture of peace. "Easy. We're not here to hurt you," she said softly. "We're just exploring." The creature tilted its head, as if considering her words. After a tense moment, it made a series of chirping sounds and retreated into the forest, disappearing as quickly as it had appeared. Sarah let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "That was close," she said. "Everyone stay alert. We need to learn more about these inhabitants." Elena nodded, her eyes wide with fascination. "Did you see how it changed colors? That could be a form of communication or camouflage. We have so much to learn." The team resumed their exploration with a heightened sense of caution. The encounter had been a reminder of the unknowns they faced and the need for careful observation and respect for the planet's inhabitants. By late afternoon, they had gathered a wealth of data and samples. Sarah decided it was time to head back to the base camp. As they retraced their steps, she couldn't shake the feeling that their presence had been noticed by more than just curious creatures. Upon returning, the base camp was abuzz with activity. Other teams had also made significant discoveries, and the atmosphere was charged with a mix of excitement and urgency. Sarah gathered everyone for a debriefing, eager to share their findings and plan the next steps. "That's quite the encounter you had," Aaron said, after Sarah recounted the day's events. "We'll need to keep a close watch on these creatures and ensure our interactions remain peaceful. I agree, Sarah replied. We're guests on this planet, and we need to act accordingly. Let's focus on understanding the environment and its inhabitants. Tomorrow, we'll expand our exploration radius and continue building our knowledge base. As night fell once more on Gliese 581G, the colonists settled into their routines. Sarah sat by the fire, reviewing the day's data and planning for the days ahead. The first footsteps had been taken, and with each passing day, they were carving out a new existence on this alien world. Sarah gazed at the stars, feeling a sense of wonder and responsibility. The journey had brought them here, but it was their determination and unity that would ensure their survival and success. She knew there would be challenges ahead, but with her team by her side, she was ready to face them. And so, under the alien sky, the colonists of Gliese 581G prepared for the next steps in their extraordinary adventure. The sun rose on Gliese 581G, casting a warm glow over the base camp. The colonists were already hard at work, driven by the urgency of establishing a more permanent settlement. The temporary shelters provided basic protection, but they needed robust structures to withstand the planet's unpredictable weather and potential threats. Commander Sarah Mitchell stood at the center of the camp, coordinating the efforts. Her mind was focused on the day's objectives: secure the perimeter, begin construction of durable habitats, and ensure the continued study of the alien environment. Dr. Vasquez, any updates on the environmental data? Sarah asked as Elena approached, her tablet in hand. We've identified several stable materials for construction, Elena replied. The soil composition and local resources are suitable for our needs. However, we should avoid the western area for now. There's a higher concentration of toxic plants. Understood. Let's prioritize the eastern sector for expansion, Sarah said. Captain Drake, how's the security detail? Aaron Drake approached, his expression serious. We've set up motion sensors and perimeter defenses. No signs of hostile activity so far, but we've spotted more of those color-shifting creatures. They're keeping their distance, but we're watching them closely. Good. Let's keep it that way, Sarah said. Everyone, gather around. We have a lot of work to do. The colonists formed a circle, their faces reflecting determination and fatigue. Sarah addressed them with a steady voice, projecting confidence and leadership. Today, we start building our future here on Gliese 581G. We need to construct shelters, storage facilities, and a central command post. Remember, safety is our priority. Work in pairs and stay within sight of each other. If you encounter any issues, report them immediately. Let's make this place a home. With a collective nod, the colonists dispersed to their tasks. The sound of construction filled the air as they worked with a sense of purpose. Sarah joined a team assembling modular habitats, her hands deftly securing panels and connecting power lines. The structures were designed to be adaptable, providing protection and comfort in the alien environment. Hours passed, and the base camp began to take shape. The central command post stood tall, its communications array reaching toward the sky. Storage facilities were filled with supplies, and the first permanent shelters offered a respite from the elements. As the day progressed, Sarah noticed a growing tension among the colonists. The initial excitement was giving way to exhaustion and stress. She called for a short break, gathering everyone together. Take a moment to rest and hydrate, she said, handing out water and energy bars. We've made incredible progress, but we need to pace ourselves. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Dr. Vasquez joined Sarah, her eyes scanning the weary faces of their team. We're doing great work, she said softly, but we need to keep morale high. Maybe we should have a communal dinner tonight, share stories, and relax a bit. That's a good idea, Sarah agreed. Let's make it happen. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the camp, the colonists gathered around a large communal table. A makeshift kitchen had been set up, and a warm meal was prepared. The aroma of cooked food brought smiles and a sense of normalcy. Sarah stood at the head of the table, raising a glass. To our first day of real progress, she said. We've faced challenges and will face many more, but today we proved that we can build a future here. Cheers to each and every one of you. Cheers, the colonists echoed, lifting their glasses. The meal was filled with laughter and conversation, a welcome break from the day's labors. stories were shared, and bonds were strengthened. Sarah watched her team with a sense of pride and gratitude. They were not just colleagues, they were a community. As the evening wore on, Sarah and Elena found a quiet spot to review the day's findings. They spread out maps and data, discussing the next steps for the colony. "The artifact we found is intriguing," Elena said, her voice hushed. "The initial scans suggest it's incredibly old, predating any known civilizations. We need to study it further, but we should proceed with caution." Sarah nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. "We'll set up a dedicated research team. I want you to lead it, Elena. This artifact could hold the key to understanding this planet and its history." "I'd be honored," Elena replied. "We'll start tomorrow." As night fell, the camp settled into a peaceful quiet. The stars above seemed closer and more familiar now, a reminder of the vast universe they were part of. Sarah took one last walk around the perimeter, ensuring everything was secure. She paused by the edge of the forest, the place where they had first encountered the color-shifting creatures. Her thoughts drifted to the future and the many unknowns that lay ahead, but for now, she felt a sense of calm and accomplishment. Returning to her shelter, Sarah lay down and closed her eyes, her mind filled with plans and dreams. The foundation had been laid, and the real work had begun. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but she was ready. And so, under the watchful gaze of alien stars, the colonists of Gliese 581G ended their day, their spirits high and their resolve unwavering. They were building more than just an outpost. They were building a new chapter in humanity's story. The morning sun rose over the newly established outpost, casting a golden glow over the bustling camp. The colonists had settled into a routine, and the sense of camaraderie and purpose was palpable. Commander Sarah Mitchell was up early, reviewing the day's agenda. Today, they would return to the site where they had detected the mysterious signal, and she could feel the anticipation building. "Dr. Vasquez, are your team ready for the artifact expedition?" Sarah asked as she joined Elena near the mobile lab. Elena nodded, her eyes bright with excitement. "We've got all the necessary equipment. I've assigned specialists to handle different aspects of the artifact's analysis. This could be a significant breakthrough, Sarah." "I agree," Sarah replied. "We need to proceed with caution. We don't know what we're dealing with yet. I'll lead the security detail. Let's get everyone assembled." The team gathered quickly, eager to begin the expedition. Sarah briefed them on the plan. They would approach the site carefully, set up a secure perimeter, and conduct a preliminary analysis of the artifact. Elena's team would handle the scientific work, while Sarah and her security team ensured their safety. The journey to the site was relatively short, but the terrain was challenging. Dense vegetation and uneven ground slowed their progress, but the team remained focused. As they approached the location where they had first detected the signal, a sense of anticipation filled the air. "There it is," Elena said, pointing to a partially buried structure. The artifact was larger than they had initially thought, with intricate designs etched into its surface. It was clearly not a natural formation. "All right, let's set up the perimeter," Sarah ordered. "Stay alert. We don't know what's around here." The security team quickly established a secure area around the artifact, setting up motion sensors and deploying drones to monitor the surroundings. Satisfied that they were safe for the moment, Sarah turned to Elena. "It's all yours," she said. Elena and her team approached the artifact with a mix of awe and caution. They began their analysis, using scanners and probes to gather data. The artifact's surface was covered in symbols and patterns that seemed to pulse faintly with energy. "This is incredible," Elena murmured. "The material is unlike anything we've seen before. It's almost as if it's alive." As the scientists worked, Sarah kept a vigilant watch. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, and the memory of the color-shifting creatures was fresh in her mind. She scanned the forest edge, her hand resting on her sidearm. "Commander, you might want to see this," Elena called out, her voice tinged with excitement and a hint of fear. Sarah approached, her eyes widening as she saw what Elena had discovered. A panel on the artifact had opened, revealing a glowing interface. Symbols and lights danced across the surface, forming patterns that seemed almost familiar. "It looks like some kind of control panel," Elena said, "but it's not like anything I've ever seen. It's almost as if it's responding to us. Can you decipher it? Sarah asked, her curiosity piqued. I'll need time, Alina replied, but I think I can make some progress. We need to be careful, though. We don't know what activating this might do. As Alina worked, Sarah felt a sudden chill. She turned to see one of the color-shifting creatures standing at the edge of the clearing, its eyes fixed on the artifact. It made no move to approach, but its presence was a stark reminder of the unknowns they faced. Everyone stay calm, Sarah said quietly. We have company. The team froze, their eyes following Sarah's gaze. The creature watched them for a moment longer, then retreated into the forest. Sarah exhaled slowly, her mind racing with questions. We need to find a way to communicate with them, she said. They clearly have an interest in this artifact. They might know more about it than we do. Agreed, Elena said, still focused on the glowing panel. But for now, let's focus on understanding this interface. It could be the key to unlocking the artifact's secrets. The rest of the day was spent in intense study and analysis. Elena's team made steady progress, deciphering some of the symbols and patterns. They discovered that the artifact contained a vast store of information, but accessing it was a complex process. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the clearing, Sarah decided it was time to return to the outpost. They had made significant progress, but there was still much to do. Let's pack up for now, she said. We'll continue our work tomorrow. Great job, everyone. The team gathered their equipment and began the journey back to the outpost. The mood was one of cautious optimism. They had uncovered a piece of Gliese 581G's history, but many questions remained unanswered. That evening, the colonists gathered around the communal fire once more. Sarah updated everyone on the day's findings, and the sense of excitement and possibility was palpable. This artifact could hold the key to understanding this planet and its past, she said. But we need to be patient and thorough. We'll continue our work tomorrow. For now, let's rest and prepare for the challenges ahead. As the stars appeared in the sky, Sarah found a quiet spot to reflect on the day's events. The discovery of the artifact had opened a new chapter in their mission. The road ahead would be challenging, but she was confident in her team's abilities. Under the alien sky, with the promise of new discoveries and challenges to come, the colonists of Gliese 581G settled in for the night. Their journey was far from over, but they were united in their purpose and ready to face whatever lay ahead. The early morning light filtered through the dense canopy, casting dappled shadows on the ground. The camp was stirring to life, but there was an undercurrent of tension. The discovery of the artifact had raised as many questions as it had answered, and the strain of the unknown was beginning to show. Commander Sarah Mitchell moved through the camp, checking in with various teams. She could sense the growing unease among the colonists. The novelty of the new world was wearing off, replaced by the harsh realities of colonization and the mysteries that Gliese 581G presented. Dr. Vasquez, how are we progressing with the artifact analysis? Sarah asked, approaching Elena, who was hunched over her tablet, deep in thought. Elena looked up, her face drawn with fatigue. We've made some headway. The artifact's interface is more complex than we initially thought. We're still trying to decode the symbols, but it's slow going. Keep at it, Sarah encouraged. But make sure your team takes breaks. We can't afford burnout. Elena nodded, appreciating the support. Thanks, Sarah. I'll make sure they do. Sarah moved on to check with Captain Aaron Drake. He was coordinating a training exercise for the security team, ensuring they were prepared for any potential threats. Despite the routine nature of the drills, Sarah could see the strain in Aaron's eyes. Aaron, how's the team holding up? She asked. We're managing, Aaron replied. But I'm sensing a lot of tension. People are worried about the creatures and the artifact. It's starting to wear on them. Sarah sighed. I know. We need to address this before it becomes a bigger issue. Let's have a team meeting, all night. Get everything out in the open. As the day progressed, Sarah noticed more signs of strain. Arguments flared up over minor issues, and some colonists seemed withdrawn and distracted. The initial excitement and camaraderie were being overshadowed by the challenges of their new reality. By evening, Sarah gathered the colonists for a meeting around the communal fire. She could see the fatigue and worry etched on their faces, and she knew it was time to address their concerns head-on. "All right, everyone," Sarah began, her voice calm but firm. "I know we're all feeling the pressure. This mission is incredibly challenging, and we're dealing with a lot of unknowns. But we're a team, and we need to support each other. Let's talk about what's been bothering us." There was a moment of silence. Then one of the engineers, Mark Davidson, spoke up. "Commander, we're all worried about the artifact. We don't know what it is or what it could do. It's unsettling." Elena nodded in agreement. "I understand the concern. We're working as fast as we can to understand it, but it's going to take time. We need to be patient and cautious." Another colonist, Lisa Patel, voiced her fears. "And those creatures, they're watching us. What if they see us as a threat?" Sarah took a deep breath, acknowledging the fears that had been simmering beneath the surface. "We've seen the creatures, and so far, they haven't shown aggression. But we need to be respectful and cautious in our interactions. We're the newcomers here, and we need to act accordingly." Aaron stepped forward. "We're doing everything we can to ensure our safety. Our defenses are strong, and we're maintaining constant vigilance, but we can't let fear control us. We have to stay focused on our mission." The conversation continued, with more colonists expressing their concerns and frustrations. Sarah listened intently, offering reassurance and practical solutions. By the end of the meeting, there was a sense of relief. The issues hadn't vanished, but they were out in the open, and the team felt heard. "Thank you for your honesty," Sarah said, closing the meeting. "We're in this together, and we'll get through it together. Let's take things one step at a time and support each other. Now, get some rest. We have a big day ahead." As the colonists dispersed, Sarah felt a weight lift from her shoulders. Addressing the internal struggles had been necessary, and she was confident they could move forward with renewed focus. Later that night, Sarah sat by the fire, reflecting on the day's events. Elena joined her, the two friends sharing a moment of quiet contemplation. "We made some progress today," Elena said, breaking the silence. "Not just with the artifact, but with the team. They needed this." Sarah nodded. "We all did. We're in uncharted territory, and it's natural to be scared. But we have each other, and that's our greatest strength." Elena smiled. "Well said, Commander. We'll figure this out, one step at a time." As the fire crackled and the stars twinkled above, Sarah felt a renewed sense of determination. The road ahead was uncertain, but they were a team, and they would face the challenges together. With that thought, she retired to her shelter, ready to face whatever the new day would bring. The journey was far from over, but they were moving forward, one step at a time, united in their purpose. The sun rose steadily over Gliese 581G, casting a warm light over the colony. The air was filled with the sounds of early morning activity as the colonists prepared for another day of exploration and construction. Commander Sarah Mitchell felt a sense of cautious optimism as she moved through the camp, checking in with her teams. "Good morning, Dr. Vasquez," Sarah said, stopping by the mobile lab where Elena and her team were already at work. "Morning, Commander," Elena replied, her eyes glued to a holographic display of the artifact. "We've made some progress with the interface. It seems to be a repository of information, possibly a historical record, but there's still so much we don't understand." "Keep at it," Sarah encouraged. "Every piece of data helps. I'll be leading another scouting mission today. We need to expand our knowledge of the surrounding area." Elena nodded, her excitement tempered by caution. "Be careful, Sarah. The more we learn about this place, the more complex it becomes." Sarah assembled her team for the scouting mission, including Captain Aaron Drake and a few of the colony's best scientists and engineers. They were heading toward a new area that showed promise for additional resources and potential sites for expansion. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the landscape began to change. The vegetation grew denser, and the air was filled with the hum of alien insects. The team moved cautiously, their senses alert to any signs of danger. Suddenly, Aaron held up a hand, signaling the team to stop. "Do you hear that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Sarah strained to listen. At first, she heard nothing but the usual sounds of the forest. Then she detected a faint, rhythmic clicking noise, unlike anything they had encountered before. "It's coming from over there," Sarah said, pointing toward a thicket of trees. "Let's approach slowly. Stay together." The team moved forward, their movements careful and deliberate. As they neared the source of the sound, the vegetation parted to reveal a small clearing. In the center stood a group of the color-shifting creatures, their eyes fixed on the humans. The creatures were taller than Sarah had initially thought, standing on two legs with lithe, graceful bodies. Their skin shimmered with shifting hues, creating a mesmerizing display of colors. They appeared to be communicating with each other through a series of clicks and chirps. "Everyone, stay calm," Sarah said, her voice steady. "We don't want to provoke them." Elena, who had accompanied the team to collect samples, stepped forward slowly, her hands raised in a non-threatening gesture. "We come in peace," she said softly. "We mean you no harm." One of the creatures, larger than the others, stepped forward. It tilted its head, its eyes locking onto Elena's. After a moment, it extended a slender arm, its fingers splayed open in what seemed to be a gesture of curiosity or greeting. Elena mirrored the gesture, her fingers trembling slightly. The creature's skin shifted to a calm, bluish hue, and it made a series of softer, clicking sounds. The tension in the air began to dissipate as the other creatures relaxed. "I think they're trying to communicate," Elena said, her voice filled with wonder. "They're curious about us." Sarah nodded, her eyes never leaving the creature in front of Elena. "We need to find a way to understand each other. This could be our chance to learn from them." The creature took a step closer, its eyes studying Elena with intense curiosity. It reached out and touched the artifact Elena was holding, a portable scanner. The device emitted a soft beep, and the creature's skin flashed with a series of rapid colors. "It's reacting to our technology," Elena said, fascinated. "They might understand more than we realize." The creature made a series of clicking sounds, and one of the other creatures stepped forward, holding a small, glowing object. It extended the object toward Elena, who accepted it with careful hands. "This looks like some kind of data crystal," Elena said, examining the object. "It might contain information." Sarah felt a surge of excitement. This could be a breakthrough. "We need to get this back to the lab and analyze it." The creature that had given Elena the crystal made a series of soft clicks and then gestured toward the forest, indicating they should follow. Sarah hesitated, weighing the risks. "We should follow them," Elena urged. "This might be an opportunity to learn more about their culture and technology." Sarah nodded. "All right, but we proceed with caution. Aaron, keep the team close and alert." The creatures led them through the forest to a hidden clearing where a structure stood, blending seamlessly with the natural surroundings. It was clearly a construction, but unlike any human architecture. The walls seemed to pulse with a gentle light, and the air inside was filled with a soft hum. "This is incredible," Elena whispered. "It's a blend of organic and technological elements. We have so much to learn from them." The creatures guided them inside, where they found a central chamber filled with intricate carvings and more glowing crystals. The leader of the creatures made a series of gestures, indicating the carvings and crystals were significant. Elena began scanning the chamber, capturing data and images. "These carvings might be a historical record, similar to the artifact we found. We need to document everything." Sarah watched the interaction, her mind racing with possibilities. This first contact could change everything for the colony, offering new insights and technologies, but it also came with risks and responsibilities. "We need to proceed carefully," Sarah said, her voice filled with resolve. "This is a delicate moment. We have to ensure we respect their culture and find ways to communicate and cooperate." As they continued their exploration of the chamber, Sarah felt a sense of awe and humility. They were not alone on this planet, and the path ahead was filled with unknowns. But for the first time, they had a potential ally in the creatures of Gliese 581G. With the sun setting outside and the chamber glowing softly around them, the team realized they were standing at the threshold of a new era of understanding and collaboration. The journey had just begun, and the possibilities were endless. Returning to the camp with the data crystal and a wealth of new information, Sarah and her team felt a renewed sense of purpose. The future of the colony was bright, and together with their new allies, they would uncover the mysteries of Gliese 581G and build a new chapter in humanity's story. The data crystal glowed softly on the lab table, casting ethereal light across the faces of the gathered scientists. The colonists had returned to the outpost with a wealth of new information and a cautious optimism about their future on Gliese 581G. The first contact with the color-shifting creatures had been peaceful, but now they faced the challenge of deciphering the alien technology and understanding their new allies. Commander Sarah Mitchell stood beside Dr. Elena Vasquez, who was working tirelessly to decode the data crystal. Around them, the lab buzzed with activity as the team analyzed samples and reviewed the recordings from their recent expedition. "Any luck with the crystal?" Sarah asked, her eyes fixed on the alien artifact. Elena adjusted her scanner, focusing on the intricate patterns within the crystal. "It's unlike anything we've seen. The data structure is incredibly complex, but I'm starting to make sense of it. This might take some time, but we'll get there." Sarah nodded, appreciating Elena's dedication. "Take all the time you need. This could be the key to understanding our new allies and their technology." As the day wore on, the team made steady progress. The crystal contained vast amounts of information, from detailed maps of the planet to historical records and advanced technological schematics. Each new discovery added to their understanding of Gliese 581G and its inhabitants. Meanwhile, the colony continued its daily activities. Construction of the permanent structures advanced, and the colonists adapted to their new routines. However, the recent encounter with the creatures had left many feeling uneasy. "Commander, we need to talk," Captain Aaron Drake said, approaching Sarah during a break. His expression was serious, reflecting the concerns he had been hearing from the colonists. "What's on your mind, Aaron?" Sarah asked, sensing the urgency in his tone. "The colonists are worried about the creatures," Aaron explained. "Some are scared, others are curious, but there's a lot of uncertainty. We need to establish clear protocols for interacting with them and ensure everyone feels safe." Sarah sighed, knowing he was right. "You're absolutely correct. We need to address this head-on. Let's hold a meeting tonight to discuss our plans and reassure the colony." As evening fell, the colonists gathered around the communal fire. The atmosphere was tense, the recent events weighing heavily on everyone's minds. Sarah stood before them, ready to address their concerns. "Thank you all for coming," she began, her voice steady and reassuring. "I know the recent encounters with the creatures have raised a lot of questions and concerns. We're in uncharted territory, and it's natural to feel uneasy. But I want to assure you that we're doing everything we can to understand and communicate with them." Dr. Elena Vasquez stepped forward, holding the data crystal. "This crystal contains valuable information about the creatures and their history. We're making progress in decoding it, and what we've found so far suggests they're not hostile. In fact, they seem to be curious about us and interested in cooperation." A murmur of relief and curiosity spread through the crowd. One of the colonists, Mark Davidson, raised his hand. "What do we do if we encounter them again? How should we act?" Sarah nodded, appreciating the question. "We need to approach them with respect and caution. If you see one of the creatures, avoid sudden movements and try to communicate in a calm manner. We'll develop more detailed protocols as we learn more about their behavior." Another colonist, Lisa Patel, spoke up. "And what about our safety? Are we prepared for any potential threats?" Captain Drake answered, his tone firm and confident. "We're enhancing our security measures and maintaining constant vigilance. Our primary goal is peaceful coexistence, but we're prepared to defend ourselves if necessary. Your safety is our top priority." The discussion continued, with the colonists voicing their concerns and suggestions. By the end of the meeting, the tension had eased, replaced by a sense of collective determination. They were all in this together, and their strength lay in their unity. After the meeting, Sarah and Elena returned to the lab, eager to continue their work on the data crystal. The information they had decoded so far hinted at a rich and complex history of the creatures, but many questions remained unanswered. "Elena, what do you think their intentions are?" Sarah asked, pondering the implications of their findings. Elena looked thoughtful. "It's hard to say for sure, but the data suggests they've been here for a very long time, possibly even before humanity existed. Their technology is advanced, yet they seem to live in harmony with the planet. I believe they're more interested in learning from us than in any kind of conflict. Sarah nodded, considering the possibilities. We need to find a way to communicate more effectively. If we can establish a dialogue, we can learn so much from each other. The night wore on, and the lab was filled with the soft hum of equipment and the glow of the crystal. Sarah and Alina worked tirelessly, driven by the potential of what they might discover. As dawn approached, a breakthrough came. The crystal's data began to form coherent patterns, revealing detailed records of the creature's history and culture. It was a moment of triumph and awe. "Sarah, look at this," Alina said, her voice filled with excitement. "These records, they're incredible. It's a glimpse into their world, their society. This changes everything." Sarah leaned in, her eyes squinting the newly revealed information. "This is just the beginning. We have so much to learn and so much to gain from this partnership." With renewed determination, they continued their work, knowing that each discovery brought them closer to understanding their new world and its enigmatic inhabitants. The path ahead was filled with challenges, but they were ready to face them together. Under the alien sky, with the promise of new knowledge and cooperation, the colonists of Gliese 581G looked to the future with hope and resolve. Their journey was far from over, but they were united in their mission, ready to uncover the secrets of their new home and build a future for all. The early morning sky over Gliese 581G was a tapestry of vibrant colors, hinting at the unpredictable nature of the planet. The colonists had settled into a rhythm, their routines, bringing a semblance of normalcy to their alien surroundings. Yet, beneath the surface of this newfound stability, the planet itself had plans to challenge their resolve. Commander Sarah Mitchell walked through the bustling camp, greeting her team as they prepared for another day of work. The recent discoveries about the indigenous creatures had brought a mix of excitement and anxiety, but today, a different kind of challenge awaited them. "Commander, we have a situation," Captain Aaron Drake called out as he approached, his expression tense. "What's going on, Aaron?" Sarah asked, immediately alert. "There's a significant weather system forming to the west," he explained. "Our sensors are picking up high winds and heavy rainfall. It looks like a storm, and it's heading our way fast." Sarah's mind raced with the implications. "How much time do we have?" "Not much," Aaron replied. "A few hours at most. We need to secure the camp and prepare for the worst." Sarah quickly gathered the colonists, their faces reflecting the urgency of the situation. "Listen up, everyone. A storm is heading our way. We need to secure all equipment, reinforce the shelters, and prepare for heavy rainfall and high winds. Work in teams and follow the protocols we've practiced. Let's move." The colonists sprang into action, their movements coordinated and efficient. They had trained for scenarios like this, but the reality of facing a severe storm on an alien planet brought a new level of intensity. Dr. Elena Vasquez and her team secured the lab, carefully packing away sensitive equipment and ensuring the data crystal was protected. "We can't afford to lose any of this," Elena said, her voice steady but urgent. "Make sure everything is locked down." Outside, the colonists worked tirelessly to reinforce the shelters, securing tarps and reinforcing the structures with additional supports. The air was thick with the tension of impending danger, but they pressed on, driven by a shared determination to protect their new home. As the first gusts of wind swept through the camp, Sarah felt a drop in temperature. The sky darkened, and the distant rumble of thunder echoed across the landscape. "Everyone inside!" she shouted, her voice barely audible over the growing roar of the storm. The colonists huddled in their reinforced shelters, listening to the howling wind and the relentless pounding of rain. The storm hit with a fury, testing the limits of their preparations. Sarah stayed with her team, offering words of encouragement and keeping a close eye on the structures. "We're holding up so far," Aaron reported, his voice calm despite the chaos outside. "But we need to stay vigilant. This storm could last for hours." As the storm raged on, Sarah's thoughts drifted to the creatures they had encountered. How did they weather such storms? Did they have shelters, or did they rely on their advanced technology? The questions lingered, but there was no time to dwell on them now. Hours passed, and the storm showed no signs of abating. The colonists endured, their spirits buoyed by the knowledge that they were in this together. Sarah moved from shelter to shelter, checking on her team and ensuring everyone was safe. Finally, the storm began to lose its strength. The wind died down, and the rain lessened to a steady drizzle. The colonists emerged cautiously from their shelters, assessing the damage and beginning the process of recovery. "We made it," Sarah said, her voice filled with relief. "Great job, everyone. Let's start the cleanup and repairs." The colonists worked together, clearing debris and repairing any damage to the shelters and equipment. The storm had tested their resilience, but they had proven their ability to withstand the planet's challenges. As the sun broke through the clouds, casting a warm light over the camp, Sarah gathered her team for a debriefing. "We faced a significant challenge today, and we came through it stronger. This planet will continue to test us, but I have no doubt that we can handle whatever comes our way." Elena stepped forward, holding the data crystal. "And while the storm raged, we continued to make progress. The crystal contains information about the planet's weather patterns. We might be able to predict future storms and prepare even better." Sarah smiled, feeling a renewed sense of hope. "That's excellent news. Let's use every resource we have to ensure our survival and success here." As the day turned to evening, the colonists gathered around the communal fire once more. The storm had brought them closer, reinforcing their bonds and their commitment to their mission. They shared stories of bravery and perseverance, finding strength in their unity. Under the alien sky, with the storm behind them and new challenges ahead, the colonists of Gliese 581G embraced their journey with determination and hope. They had faced the fury of the planet and emerged stronger, ready to continue building their future on this remarkable new world. And as the stars appeared above, Sarah Mitchell felt a deep sense of pride and resolve. They were pioneers, explorers, and survivors. Together, they would overcome any obstacle and create a new chapter in humanity's story. The storm had passed, leaving the camp on Gliese 581G washed clean and glistening under the morning sun. The colonists were hard at work, repairing and reinforcing their structures, their spirits high despite the challenges they had faced. Commander Sarah Mitchell felt a renewed sense of determination as she moved through the camp, checking on the progress and offering words of encouragement. In the mobile lab, Dr. Elena Vasquez and her team were engrossed in their work. The data crystal they had retrieved from the creatures held the promise of new discoveries, and every day brought fresh insights. Sarah joined Elena, eager to hear the latest findings. "Elena, any new breakthroughs?" Sarah asked, her eyes scanning the array of holographic displays and data streams. Elena looked up, her face alight with excitement. "Yes, Sarah, we've made significant progress. The crystal contains detailed historical records and advanced technological schematics. It's a treasure trove of information about the creatures and their civilization." "That's incredible," Sarah said, feeling a surge of anticipation. "What have we learned about their history?" Elena activated a holographic display, showing a series of intricate symbols and images. The records indicate that the creatures, whom we've tentatively named the Glieseans, have been on this planet for thousands of years. They've developed a highly advanced society with technology that integrates seamlessly with the natural environment. The display shifted to show images of towering structures made of organic materials, blending harmoniously with the landscape. The Glieseans had built cities that were both technologically sophisticated and ecologically sustainable. "This is amazing," Sarah said, her mind racing with possible ideas. "What else do we know about their culture and technology?" Elena pointed to another set of symbols. "They seem to have a deep connection to the planet and its ecosystems. Their technology harnesses natural energy sources, and their society is built on principles of harmony and balance. It's a stark contrast to our own industrial history." Sarah nodded, feeling a profound respect for the Glieseans. "We have so much to learn from them. But what about the artifact? Do we know its purpose?" Elena's expression grew more serious. "The artifact appears to be a repository of their knowledge, a kind of library. It contains records of their history, scientific advancements, and possibly even their philosophical and spiritual beliefs. But there's more. It also contains warnings." "Warnings?" Sarah asked, her curiosity piqued. "Yes," Elena said. "The records speak of a great cataclysm that occurred long ago. It's not entirely clear what caused it, but it seems to have nearly wiped out their civilization. The artifact may have been created to preserve their knowledge and prevent future generations from making the same mistakes. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. We need to understand these warnings. If there's a danger, we have to be prepared. Elena nodded. We're working on deciphering the details. It's a complex puzzle, but we're making progress. In the meantime, we should approach our interactions with the Glieseans with caution and respect. Sarah agreed. We'll continue to study the artifact and learn from the Glieseans. Their knowledge could be crucial to our survival on this planet. As the day continued, the colonists focused on their tasks with renewed vigor. The discoveries about the Glieseans and their history had ignited a sense of purpose and curiosity. They were not just building a new home. They were also uncovering the secrets of an ancient and sophisticated civilization. That evening, Sarah called a meeting to share the latest findings with the entire colony. The communal fire crackled as the colonists gathered, their faces illuminated by its warm glow. Good evening, everyone, Sarah began, her voice filled with determination. Today, we've made significant progress in understanding the Glieseans and their history. Dr. Vasquez has been decoding the data crystal, and we've learned that the Glieseans have been on this planet for thousands of years. They've built a society that is both technologically advanced and in harmony with the natural world. The colonists listened intently, their expressions reflecting a mix of awe and curiosity. But there's more, Sarah continued. The artifact we found is a repository of their knowledge, created to preserve their history and prevent future generations from making the same mistakes. It contains warnings about a great cataclysm that occurred long ago. We need to understand these warnings and learn from them to ensure our own survival. The murmurs among the colonists grew louder as they absorbed the gravity of Sarah's words. One of the engineers, Mark Davidson, raised his hand. Commander, do we know what caused the cataclysm? Elena stepped forward to answer. The records are still unclear, but it seems to have been a combination of natural and technological factors. We're working on deciphering the details. For now, we need to be vigilant and continue our research. Lisa Patel, another colonist, spoke up. And what about our interactions with the Glieseans? How do we proceed? We proceed with caution and respect, Sarah replied. We have much to learn from them, and we must approach them as allies, not adversaries. Our goal is peaceful coexistence and mutual understanding. The discussion continued, with colonists voicing their concerns and suggestions. By the end of the meeting, there was a sense of unity and purpose. They were not just colonists, they were explorers and scholars, uncovering the mysteries of the New World. Later that night, as the camp settled into a peaceful quiet, Sarah sat by the fire, reflecting on the day's events. Elena joined her, the two friends sharing a moment of contemplation. We've come so far, Elena said softly, but there's still so much to learn. Sarah nodded. We're on the right path. We just need to stay focused and work together. This planet holds many secrets, and we're just beginning to uncover them. As the stars twinkled above, casting their ancient light over the camp, Sarah felt a deep sense of resolve. They were pioneers on a journey of discovery, and each day brought new challenges and new opportunities. With determination and unity, they would build a future on Gliese 581G, guided by the knowledge of the past and the promise of the unknown. Under the alien sky, the colonists of Gliese 581G embraced their mission with courage and hope. Their journey was far from over, but they were united in their purpose, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Together, they would uncover the secrets of their new home and build a new chapter in humanity's story. The camp was alive with a renewed sense of purpose as the colonists of Gliese 581G worked tirelessly to finalize the latest round of construction. The shelters had been reinforced, new systems were being installed, and the discoveries from the artifact continued to guide their development. The recent storm had tested their resilience, but it had also brought them closer together. Commander Sarah Mitchell stood at the edge of the camp, looking out over the horizon. The landscape was breathtaking, a testament to the potential and beauty of their new world. Yet, she knew that many challenges still lay ahead. The artifact's warnings weighed heavily on her mind, and the need for understanding and cooperation with the Glieseans was more crucial than ever. "Commander," Dr. Elena Vasquez called out, approaching with a tablet in hand. "We've made another breakthrough with the artifact." Sarah turned to her, a mix of anticipation and concern in her eyes. "What have you found?" Elena handed her the tablet, which displayed a series of decoded symbols and translated text. "We've identified references to an ancient event, a catastrophic failure that nearly destroyed the Gliesean civilization. It appears to have been triggered by a combination of environmental collapse and a critical technological malfunction. They created the artifact to preserve their knowledge and prevent future generations from repeating their mistakes." Sarah studied the data, her mind racing with the implications. "This information is invaluable. We need to understand their technology and their environmental practices if we're to avoid a similar fate." Elena nodded. "Agreed. We've also found detailed schematics for some of their sustainable technologies. If we can integrate these into our own systems, it could revolutionize our approach to living on this planet." Sarah felt a surge of hope. This is exactly what we need. Let's prioritize the integration of their technologies, and we need to share this knowledge with the Glieseans, show them that we're committed to learning and cooperation. As the day progressed, the colonists worked to implement the new technologies. Solar collectors, water purification systems, and sustainable agricultural practices were adapted to their needs. The camp was transforming, becoming more efficient and harmonious with the environment. In the late afternoon, a delegation of Glieseans arrived at the edge of the camp. Sarah and Elena, along with Captain Aaron Drake, went out to meet them. The leader of the Glieseans, whom they had begun to call Eldrin, stepped forward, his skin shifting to a calm blue hue. "Welcome," Sarah said, raising her hand in greeting. "We've made some important discoveries from the artifact. We want to share this knowledge with you and learn from your wisdom." Eldrin made a series of soft clicks and gestures, indicating understanding and approval. One of the Glieseans stepped forward, holding a small device that projected a holographic map of the area, highlighting several locations. Elena studied the map, her eyes widening. These must be sites of significant historical or technological importance. They're inviting us to explore these locations. Sarah felt a thrill of excitement. This could be the key to unlocking even more of their knowledge. We'll prepare an expedition immediately. The next day, a joint team of humans and Glieseans set out to explore the first of the highlighted locations. The journey took them deep into the forest, where they discovered a hidden valley filled with ancient structures and advanced technology, perfectly preserved. "This is incredible," Elena said, her voice filled with awe. "It's like a time capsule of their civilization." Sarah felt a sense of wonder and gratitude. "We've been given a rare opportunity. Let's document everything and learn as much as we can." As they worked side by side with the Glieseans, the bond between the two species grew stronger. They shared knowledge and experiences, bridging the gap between their worlds. The humans' understanding of sustainable living deepened, while the Glieseans learned about human ingenuity and adaptability. Back at the camp, the integration of Gliesean technology was showing remarkable results. Energy efficiency had improved, water and food resources were stabilized, and the overall quality of life had increased. The colonists felt a renewed sense of optimism and possibility. That evening, Sarah gathered the colonists around the communal fire for an important announcement. The air was filled with anticipation and a sense of unity. "We've made incredible progress," Sarah began, her voice carrying the weight of their shared journey. "We've learned from the Glieseans and begun to integrate their technologies into our daily lives. Our cooperation with them is opening doors to a future we never imagined." The colonists cheered, their spirits high. "But this is just the beginning," Sarah continued. "We have much more to explore and learn. The journey ahead will be challenging, but I have no doubt that together we will succeed. We are not just building a new home, we are building a new chapter in human history, and we are not alone. We have allies, friends, and partners in the Glieseans." Elena stepped forward, holding up the data crystal. "This crystal has given us a glimpse into their past and their wisdom. It's a reminder that knowledge and understanding are our greatest tools. Let's continue to seek out the unknown and build a future we can all be proud of. As the fire crackled and the stars twinkled above, the colonists felt a profound sense of purpose. They were pioneers, explorers, and bridge builders, creating a new world with the help of their new allies. The evening turned to night, and Sarah stood at the edge of the camp, looking out over the horizon. The challenges of the past few months had tested them in ways she could never have imagined, but they had emerged stronger and more united. "Ready for the next adventure?" Elena asked, joining her. "Always," Sarah replied, a determined smile on her face. "There's so much more to discover, and with the Glieseans by our side, I believe anything is possible." As the first light of dawn began to break, casting a new glow over the landscape, Sarah felt a deep sense of hope and resolve. The journey was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever lay ahead. Together, they would continue to uncover the secrets of Gliese 581G and build a future that honored both their past and their newfound allies. The adventure was just beginning, and the possibilities were endless. Under the alien sky, with the promise of new discoveries and the strength of their unity, the colonists of Gliese 581G embraced their mission with coup, rage, and hope. Their journey would continue in Book 2 as they delved deeper into the mysteries of their new home and forged a future together.